Good evening and welcome to the Sounds of Music, our Thanksgiving special presenting the music of Rodgers and Hammerstein. More than a decade ago, we started with Thanksgiving concerts here at Temple Emmanuel. And today, we are happy to be able to bring this special event even under these difficult circumstances in honor of Lucia David. 2 years ago was Bernstein, last year was Gershwin, and today is the great duo, concluding our three-part special on Jewish composers on Broadway. Although there are so many of them that we could go on this for every year until I retire. Richard Charles Rodgers is known largely for his work in musical theater. With 43 Broadway musicals and over 900 songs to his credit, Rodgers was one of the most significant American composers of the 20th century, and his compositions had a significant impact on popular music. Rodgers won the EGOT. Rodgers was the first person to win all of what we are considered the top American entertainment awards in theater, film, recording, and television. Tony, an Oscar, a Grammy, and Emmy, known collectively as an EGOT. Achieving the EGOT has been referred to as the Grand Slam of show business. As of 2020, only 16 people have accomplished this feat. Born into prosperous German Jewish family in Queens, New York, Rodgers was the son of Mamie Libby and Dr. Williams Rodgers, a prominent physician who had changed the family name from Rogazinski. Richards began playing the piano at the age of 6. Dorothy Feiner was an American author, inventor, businesswoman, and philanthropist. She was born in New York City to a Jewish family, and she married Richard Rodgers in 1930. Dorothy was also known as an activist, writing letters against anti-Semitism. She likewise a noted philanthropist who supported several Jewish cultural organizations. The other giant who made wonderful shows with Rodgers was Oscar Greeley Hammerstein, was one of the most important book writers in Broadway history. He was born in New York City and his father was from a Jewish family. His mother was the daughter of a British parents. Although Hammerstein's father managed the Victoria Theatre and was a producer of shows, he was opposed to his son's desire to participate in the arts. He is best known for his collaborations with composer Richard Rodgers as the duo Rodgers and Hammerstein, whose musicals include Oklahoma, Carousel, South Pacific, The King and I, and Sound of Music. All of them we are going to hear excerpts tonight. Rodgers and Hammerstein musicals earned a total of 37 Tony Awards, unbelievable, 15 Academy Awards, 2 Pulitzer Prizes, 2 Grammy Awards, and 2 Emmy Awards. Our first show of the evening is Oklahoma, which was the first musical written by the duo of Rodgers and Hammerstein. The musical is based on Lynn Riggs' 1931 play, Green Grow the Lilacs, set in farm country outside the town of Claremont, Indian Territory in 1906. It tells the story of a farm girl, Laurie Williams, and her courtship by 2 rival suitors, cowboy Curly McLean and the sinister and frightening farmhand Judd Fry. The original Broadway production opened on March 31st, 1943. It was a box office hit and ran for an unprecedented 2,212 performances, later enjoying award-winning revivals, national tours, foreign productions, and an Oscar-winning 1955 film adaptation. We are going to hear 2 songs from this show. The first one sung by Curly, not the Three Stooges one, and the second by the character of Laurie. Enjoy it.
There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's eye, and it looks like it's climbing clear up to the sky. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. All the cattle are standing like statues. All the cattle are standing like statues. They don't turn their heads as they see me ride by. But a little brown maverick is winking her eye. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. All the sounds of the earth are like music. All the sounds of the earth are like music. The breeze is so busy, it don't miss a tree. And an old whipping wheeler is laughing at me. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. Oh, what a beautiful
Out of my dreams and into your arms I long to fly. I will come as evening comes to a waiting sky. Out of my dreams and into the hush of falling shadows, when the mists are low and stars are breaking through, then out of my dreams I'll go into a dream with you. Won't have to go on digging a story. You'll be there. Think of the bright midsummer night glory we can share. Won't have to go on kissing a daydream. I love you. You'll be real as the bright moon lighting the blue.
We are now bringing a friend of us at Temple Emmanuel, Barbara Grossman, with a message and greetings. Barbara Wallace Grossman, professor at Tufts University and chair of the Department of Theater, Dance, and Performance Studios. Dr. Barbara Wallace Grossman is a theater historian, voice specialist, director, and author.
I've always loved Rodgers and Hammerstein. Maybe it was because when I was 4 in New York City, my mother and I met Richard Rodgers when she took me to a children's theater show, and he said, "Keep going to theater." So I did. Or because my parents and Steve's parents went to see Oklahoma on their honeymoon in 1943. Or because I sang their songs on camp field trips and school buses, and I got to play Luther Billis in a production of South Pacific at Camp Kippawa for girls and got to sing "There Is Nothing Like a Dame," and because I listened to their songs on the radio and on TV and on LP cast albums playing in our home. Rodgers and Hammerstein dominated American musical theater in the mid-20th century. Their songs were singable, accessible, spirited, lively, inspiring, and I love them. Oklahoma was a show that was as revolutionary in 1943 as Hamilton was more than 70 years later. And then Carousel, South Pacific, The King and I, The Sound of Music. But then the 1960s happened. Before then, Rodgers and Hammerstein's musicals won 34 Tony Awards, 15 Academy Awards, 2 Grammys, 2 Emmys, and a Pulitzer Prize for South Pacific. But in the 60s, America's psyche changed. After 3 assassinations, JFK, RFK, Martin Luther King, after the Vietnam War, civil rights movement, women's movement, gay rights movement, America wasn't ready or wasn't willing to tap into the sunny, happy version of Rodgers and Hammerstein that really seemed to be their signature. So America fell out of love with Rodgers and Hammerstein. Plus, they didn't do rock. Rock wasn't their idiom. It wasn't what they knew, and it wasn't what America wanted to hear. What's so exciting is their rediscovery. They have been rediscovered by a new generation of theater artists, people who love rock, who love hip hop and rap, but they also love the songs of what used to be called the Golden Age. So you get productions like Nicholas Heitner's in 1994 of Carousel, which came to Lincoln Center, where Audra McDonald, that brilliant actor, played Carrie Pipperidge, the first time an African-American artist played that role. Or you get productions that Bart Sher has done, King and I, South Pacific, doing deep dives into the darker meaning and resonance of these shows. South Pacific in particularly, with its song that spoke out against racism and prejudice, "You've got to be carefully taught." That's how children learn to be racist. Or most recently, Oklahoma has proven to be such a fertile palimpsest for theatrical interpretation. Oregon Shakespeare Festival 2018, a production with Laurie and Curly as a lesbian couple, Ado Andy and Will Parker as a gay couple, and Aunt Eller as a trans woman. And most recently, Daniel Fish's brilliant production, groundbreaking production, with a very diverse multiracial cast, a dream ballet with one African-American woman in a t-shirt, shaved head, bare feet, hurling herself around the stage. That's what makes it exciting. So I'm going to end with a haiku. Rodgers and Hammerstein's arc. They dominated, they declined. They're back. Thank you.
State Fair was the first adapted for film in 1933 in a production starring Will Rogers. In 1945, the film was remade as a musical with original songs by Rodgers and Hammerstein. This was subsequently remade in 1962, as well as adapted into a made-for-television movie in 1976. The stage production closely follows the plot of its predecessors, providing a glimpse into the life of a farming family, the Frakes, and their 3-day adventure at the Iowa State Fair in Des Moines in 1946. State Fair was the only Rodgers and Hammerstein musical written directly for film. The movie introduced such popular songs as "It's a Grand Night for Singing, which is the song we are going to hear now.
It's a grand night for singing. The moon is flying high, and somewhere a bird who is bound to be heard is throwing his heart at the sky. It's a grand night for singing. The stars are high above. The earth is aglow to add to the show. I think I am falling in love. Falling in love. Maybe it's more than the moon. Maybe it's more than the birds. Maybe it's more than the sight of a night in a light too lovely for words. Maybe it's more than the earth, shining and shimmery blue. Maybe the reason I'm feeling this way has something to do with you. It's a grand night for singing. The moon is flying high, and somewhere a bird who is bound to be heard is throwing his heart at the sky. It's a grand night for singing. The stars are high above. The earth is aglow to add to the show. I think I am falling in love. Falling in love.
Thank you, Elisa, for that gorgeous singing. She can do anything. She can do sermons, she can sing like this all by heart, she can play keyboard and guitar. We are so blessed to have her with us, and thank you, Elisa, for being part of this event. Our next show is Carousel, which is the second musical of the team. Following the spectacular success of the first Rodgers and Hammerstein musical Oklahoma in 1943, the Byrds sought to collaborate on another piece, knowing that any resulting work would be compared with Oklahoma most likely unfavorably. It opened on Broadway on April 1945, and it was an immediate hit with both critics and audiences. Carousel initially ran for 890 performances and duplicated its success in the West End in 1950. Though it has never achieved as much commercial success as Oklahoma, the piece has been repeatedly revived, recorded several times, and was filmed in 1956. Now, many of you know that I'm a big soccer fan. I grew up playing soccer, that's the only thing that I watch. And one of the teams that is very popular in the world is a team from England called Liverpool FC. As I said before, it's one of the most popular soccer teams in England. Before every match, I don't know if you know this, the Liverpool fans, maybe 60,000, 50,000 of them, sing together Never Walk Alone, the song from Rodgers. Why is You Never Walk Alone significant? The song developed a new meaning and symbolism after the match between Liverpool and Nottingham Forest, known as the Hillsborough disaster in 1989, in which 96 fans lost their lives. So when the song came out, it was an instant hit, perhaps because the song's message of triumph in times of adversity spoke to the wartime crowds of April 1945. Less than a month before the end of World War II, in 1963, a recording by the Merseybeat band Gary and the Peacemakers brought the song to the doorsteps to Liverpool FC. And that is the reason why the Liverpool fans sing this song so passionately. If you haven't seen it, please go after watching this show and find the video. Now, I'm bringing back a beautiful memory of the concerts we did 3 years ago here at Temple Emmanuel with the Argentenors. And we are bringing back the memory of You'll Never Walk Alone. Now we are moving on into our next show named Allegro. The show Allegro is their third collaboration for the stage, opening on Broadway at the Majestic Theater on October 10th, 1947. The musical centers on the life of Joseph Taylor, Jr., who follows in the footsteps of his father as a doctor, but is tempted by fortune and fame at the big city hospital. After the immense success of the first two Rodgers and Hammerstein musicals, Oklahoma and Carousel, the pair sought a subject for the next play. Hammerstein had long contemplated a serious work which would deal with the problems of the ordinary man in the fast-moving modern world. Given the outstanding success of Oklahoma and Carousel, Allegro was anticipated with close interest by the theater community and public. Listen to this. The musical attracted $750,000 in advance sales at a time when the top price ticket for a Broadway musical was $6. Unbelievable. Now it's a moment that is very meaningful to me. The song we are going to hear is called A Fellow Needs a Girl from that show. The video comes from the 2015 Thanksgiving concert here, and it is sung by the great Richard Conrad. In 2002, I was looking for a voice teacher, and somebody recommended the name Richard Conrad. Little did I know that at the time, Richard will become my voice teacher and family friend for the next 17 years. Richard was many times here at Temple Emmanuel, not only performing in many concerts here, also I had the privilege of working with him outside in many concerts, but attended my own personal events like birthdays, celebrations, family reunions, and my installation here in 2007 and Mikey's bar mitzvah, among many others. Richard Conrad passed away last year, and this is my tribute to him.
A fella needs a girl to sit by his side at the end of a weary day, to sit by his side and listen to him talk and agree with the things he'd say. A fella needs a girl to hold in his arms when the rest of his world goes wrong, to hold in his arms and know that she believes that her fellow is wise and strong. When things go right and the job's well done, he likes to share the prize he's won. If no one shares and no one cares, where's the fun of a job well done, or a prize you've won? A fella needs a girl, his own kind of girl, but to make his dream come true, the fella needs a girl, his own kind of girl, my kind of girl is you.
You probably know that New York City has a theater located on 46th Street between Broadway and 8th Avenue. It was originally named the 46th Street Theater. The Nederlander organization purchased the venue and in 1990 renamed the house to honor the composer we are celebrating today. Richard Rodgers. Richard Rodgers Theater, it's a popular theater in New York City, and was actually, for the younger audiences, the theater that hosted the show Hamilton. Now, when we are enjoying all these wonderful songs together, I'm sure the question that all of you are asking is, did Rodgers and Hammerstein write Jewish music? There was one musician very famous in those days, another composer, the great Cole Porter. And he was aware that he was working in a medium that was disproportionately Jewish. He once told Richard Rodgers that he had discovered the secret for writing hits. "I'll write Jewish tunes," he claimed. Porter's comment was echoed by Jerome Kern, who, unlike Porter, was himself Jewish. Apparently, Oscar Hammerstein once asked what sort of music Kern would be writing for a stage musical about the life of Marco Polo. Kern replied, "It will be good Jewish music." In one sense, they were right, and on the other, the music wasn't really Jewish music, and Porter's tunes weren't Jewish tunes. The Jewish composers were not simply adapting the Yiddish tunes of the ghetto for an English-speaking audience. They were drawing on the wider musical traditions of America. As many experts say, the Jewish songwriters were, above all, adapting the music of African Americans. First, they took inspiration from ragtime music and later from jazz. Now we are introducing the show Cinderella, a television musical. More than 107 million viewers saw the broadcast, originally broadcast live on CBS on March 31st, 1957, with the great Julie Andrews, who played the title role. Again, 107 million people watched this. The 2013 adaptation was the first version of Cinderella, with the Rodgers and Hammerstein score mounted on Broadway. The production ran for 770 performances. It was nominated for 9 Tony Awards, winning 1 for Best Costume Design. US national tours follow. The song is "In My Own Little Corner."
I'm as mild and as meek as a mouse. When I hear a command, I obey. But I know there's a spot in my house where no one can stand in my way. In my own little corner, in my own little world, I can be whatever I want to be. On the wings of my fancy, I can fly anywhere, and the world will open its arms to me. I'm a young Norwegian princess or a milkmaid. I'm the greatest prima donna in Milan. I'm an heiress who has always had her silks made by her own flock of silkworms in Japan. I'm a girl, men go mad for love's a game I can play with a cool and confident kind of air. Just as long as I stay in my own little corner, all alone in my own little chair. I can be whatever I want to be. I'm a slave in Calcutta, I'm a queen in Peru, I'm a mermaid dancing upon the sea. I'm a huntress on an African safari. It's a dangerous sport and yet it's fun. In the night I sally forth to seek my quarry. Then I find I forgot to bring my gun. I am lost in the jungle all alone and unarmed when I meet a lioness in her den.
the honor to present now another great friend of Temple Emmanuel, Melissa Bernstein. Melissa Bernstein, artistic director, founded the Newton Theatre Company in 2013 and has directed most Newton Theatre Company shows. She was the founder and executive director of the Newton Youth Players, housed in the Newton Cultural Center at City Hall. Over the program's history, she has directed over 50 productions involving close to 1,000 youth actors. Melissa holds a PhD in theater from the University of Colorado at Boulder, an MFA in playwriting theater education from Emerson College, and a BA in theater from SUNY Binghamton. To us, she is known as the great director of two shows we did here at Temple Emmanuel, Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat in 2016, and Fiddler on the Roof last year. It was a pleasure both times to work with her. Thank you, Melissa, for your message. And after that, stay tuned for another surprise.
I'm thrilled that Elias's concert this year features songs by Rodgers and Hammerstein, my all-time favorite musical duo. I grew up with their songs. Way back when you could only catch a beloved movie once a year when it came on TV, my father would gather the family on the couch to watch his favorite musical films, Oklahoma, The Sound of Music, The King and I, and South Pacific. My brother, sister, and I knew these musicals by heart, and they became our favorites. Now, 14 years after running my own children's theater program, I have had the joy of sharing these musicals with elementary school kids. Over the years, we've done all the Rodgers and Hammerstein musicals that I grew up on. Two favorites that we return to again and again are Oklahoma and The Sound of Music. Kids love being cowboys and cowgirls. Also, the Von Trapp children are much coveted parts. Little known fact, the year we did The King and I, based on Anna and the King of Siam, David Rosenberg played Anna's son. He was awesome. The Rodgers and Hammerstein song album is my favorite, perhaps because their partnership produced songs whose melodies are gorgeous and unforgettable, and whose lyrics are so relatable. Once you learn a Richard Rodgers tune, you hum it forever. As well, the lyrics of Oscar Hammerstein are empathetic to the human heart's struggle. I love that Hammerstein was so progressive. His lyrics for South Pacific's You've Got to Be Carefully Taught were way ahead of its time, spelling out in no uncertain terms that racism is learned when very young, and that we have a responsibility to stop the ongoing teaching of it. Perhaps one day Temple Emmanuel will do a Rodgers and Hammerstein musical. I vote for South Pacific because I know that if Elias was not a cantor, he'd be touring the country as Emile Debec singing Some Enchanted Evening. Elias, I'm pretty sure you're singing it tonight.
Doe, a deer, a female deer, ray, a drop of golden sun, me, a name I call myself, a long, long way to run, so I need a pulling thread, a note to follow, so tea, a drink with jam and bread. A deer, a female deer, right, a drop of golden sun, me, a name I call myself, a long, long way to run, so I need a pulling thread, a note to follow, so tea, a drink with jam and bread, that would bring us back to dough. A deer, a female deer, ray, a drop of golden sun, me, a name I call myself, a long, long way to run, so I need a pulling thread, a note to follow, so tea, a drink with jam and bread, that would bring us back to do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
Thank you, David, so much. David Rosenberg, my son, for your beautiful song Do Re Mi from The Sound of Music. The Sound of Music is a musical based on the 1949 memoir of Maria von Trapp. The story of the Trapp family singers, set in Austria in 1938, the musical tells the story of Maria, who takes a job as governess to a large family while she decides whether to become a nun. She falls in love with the children and eventually their widowed father, Captain von Trapp. He is ordered to accept a commission in the German Navy, but he opposes the Nazis. He and Maria decide on a plan to flee Austria with the children. The original Broadway production starring Mary Martin and Theodore Bikel, the great Theodore Bikel, opened in 1959 and won 5 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. It was adapted as the 1965 film musical starring Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer, which won 5 Academy Awards. The Sound of Music was the last musical written by Rodgers and Hammerstein. Oscar Hammerstein died of stomach cancer 9 months after the Broadway premiere. The film was a major commercial success, becoming the #1 box office movie after 4 weeks and the highest grossing family film of 1965. The film was just as popular throughout the world, breaking previous box office records in 29 countries, including the one I grew up in Spanish. The film sold 283 million admissions worldwide and earned a total worldwide gross of $286 million. With great pleasure, we are happy to bring to you Cole Emmanuel and the great Eugenia Gerstein with 2 songs from this beautiful show, Edelweiss and Climb Every Mountain. Enjoy them.
Great heavens
Eugenia for this beautiful job. I don't know how much of you know about what it takes to make a video like this. So let me explain it. Eugenia Gerstein plays the song in the piano, and she sends that recording to every one of the singers in the choir. Also, she provides for each voice, like a soprano, alto, baritone, bass, a separate melody line. Each one of the singers at home, with headphones, listen, learn what Eugenia recorded, and then when they are ready, they record it on a video, playing in their headphones the music that Eugenia recorded. You think that's done? No. Then Eugenia has 25 videos to put together, to mash them up, and to line them up that everybody's singing the same thing, and not only audio but visuals. So it's a tremendous work, and Eugenia, from the bottom of my heart, I really thank you for your fabulous job. Our next show is perhaps my favorite one, South Pacific, which premiered in 1949 on Broadway and was an immediate hit, running for 1925 performances, 1,921 performances. The plot centers on an American nurse stationed on a South Pacific island during World War II, who falls in love with a middle-aged French plantation owner but struggles to accept his mixed-race children. A secondary romance between a U.S. Marine lieutenant and young Tonkinese woman explores his fears of the social consequences should he marry his Asian sweetheart. The issue of racial prejudice is candidly explored throughout the musical, most controversially, the beautiful song, You've Got to Be Carefully Taught. Especially in the southern US, its racial theme provoked controversy, for which the authors were unapologetic. So the big star for this show was Encio Pinza and Mary Martin as the leads. And Rodgers and Hammerstein wrote several songs, many of the songs were the particular talents of their stars in mind and knowing how they sang. Who was Ezio Pinza? Ezio Pinza spent 22 sessions at New York City Metropolitan Opera, appearing in more than 750 performances of 50 operas. After retiring from the Met in 1948, Pinza enjoyed a fresh career on Broadway in musical theater, most notably in South Pacific, in which he created the role of Emile Debec. He also appeared in several Hollywood films. So not only that I love the music in this show, but also the idea that the main character is a French guy allows me to be on Broadway. He had an accent, so it's perfect for me. Now, we are going to hear 3 songs from this fabulous show: Some Enchanted Evening, I'm in Love with a Wonderful Guy, and Younger Than Springtime. After that, we'll welcome Lloyd David and his beautiful family for a beautiful message. I want to thank Lloyd David and everybody in the family deeply for their continued support to make this concert possible. Enjoy it.
Some enchanted evening, you may see a stranger, you may see a stranger across a crowded room, and somehow you know even then, somewhere you'll see her again and again. Some enchanted evening, someone may
expect every one of my friends to make fun of my proud protestations of faith and romance. And they'll say I'm naive as a babe to believe any fable I hear from a person in pants. Fearlessly I'll face them and argue their doubts away. Loudly I'll sing about flowers and spring. Flatly I'll stand on my little flat feet and say, love is a grand and a beautiful thing. I'm not ashamed to reveal that world-famous feeling I feel. I'm as corny as Kansas in August. I'm as normal as blueberry pie. No more a smart little girl with no heart. I have found me a wonderful guy. I am in a conventional dither with a conventional star in my eye. And you will note there's a lump in my throat when I speak of that wonderful guy. I'm as bright and as gay as a daisy in May, a cliche coming through. I'm bromidic and bright as a moon, happy night, throwing light on the dew. I'm as corny as Kansas in August, high as a flag on the 4th of July. If you'll excuse a confession I use, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love with a wonderful guy. I'm as corny as Kansas in August, high as a flag on the 4th of July. If you'll excuse an expression I use, I'm in love, 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 I'm in love with a
I touch your hand and my arm grows strong, like a pair of birds that burst with song. My eyes look down at your lovely face, and I hold the world in my embrace. Younger than springtime are you, softer than starlight are you, warmer than winter
I hope you had a pleasant and safe Thanksgiving. I'm here with my daughters and my grandchildren. Luciana, who's Paulita's 3-year-old daughter, Adrian, Paulita's 6-year-old son, and Marcos, who was born in July rather. And sorry, and her daughter Annabelle, who's was born in January and is combing my hair. No. When I think about what was important to Lucha, the first thing I would say is family and friends who often became family. The second was being Jewish. She was the daughter of Holocaust survivors from Poland who immigrated to Bolivia, where she was born, and then went to Chile. And the third thing that was important to her was her mores and culture of South America, which was the basis of her work at the University of Massachusetts, Boston, with the Boston Public Schools. Elias asked me to talk about why this concert has been so important to me. This is easy to answer. Lucha loved Shabbat Alive. These concerts are in some way a reminder of her love for that service. But more importantly, they are very beautiful and provide a great joy and happiness to those that hear them and represent a beautiful example of her life. Once again, I hope you like to enjoy the performance and don't forget to sing. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lloyd, for your beautiful message, for your beautiful family, and for your continued support to make this concert possible. Our event is coming to an end, and with this is our last show. The King and I is the 5th musical by the team, and it takes place in Thailand. The musical's plot relates the experiences of Anna, a British school teacher hired as part of the king's drive to modernize his country. The relationship between the king and Anna is marked by conflict through much of the piece, as well as by a love to which neither can admit. The musical premiered on March 29, 1951 at Broadway's St. James Theatre. It ran for nearly 3 years, 1,246 performances, making it the 4th longest running Broadway musical in history at the time, and has had many tours and revivals. The musical was an immediate hit, winning Tony Awards and Best Musical, Best Actress for Lawrence, and Best Featured Actor for the great Russian-American actor, singer, and director Yul Brynner. Brynner came to dominate his role in the musical. He played the role 4,625 times on stage and became known for his shaved head, which he maintained as a personal trademark long after adopting The King and I. His real name was Yul Brynner. You may recall him as well for the film The Ten Commandments in 1956. The film starred Charlton Heston as the lead role and Yul Brynner as Ramses. We are going to hear 3 songs: Something Wonderful, I Have Dreamed, and Shall We Dance?
This is a man who thinks with his heart. His heart is not always wise. This is a man who stumbles and falls, but this is a man who tries. This is a man you'll forgive and help and protect as long as you live. He will not always say what you would have him say, but now and then he'll say something
joy you'll be. I have dreamed every word you whisper when you're close to me. How you look in the glow of evening. I have dreamed and enjoyed a view. In these dreams I've loved you so, that by now I think I know what it's like to be loved by you. I've been loved by
Alone and awake, I've looked at the stars, the same that smiled on you. And time and again, I've thought all the thoughts that you were thinking too. I have dreamed that your arms are lovely. I have dreamed what a joy you'll be. I have dreamed every word you whisper when you're close to me. How you look in the glow of evening. I have dreamed and enjoyed the view. In these dreams I've loved you so, that by now I think I know what it's like to be loved by We've just been introduced. I do not know you well, but when the music started, something drew me to your side. So many men and girls are in each other's arms. It made me think we might be similarly occupied. Shall we dance on a bright cloud of music? Shall we fly? Shall we dance? Shall we then say goodnight and mean goodbye? Or perchance, when the last little stars left the sky, shall we still be together with our arms around each other? And will you be my new romance? On the clear understanding that this kind of thing can happen, shall we dance? Shall we dance? Shall we dance? Oh, Your Majesty!
Why'd you stop? You dance pretty. Go on, go on, go on.
Oh, Your Majesty, I'm not a dancing girl. In England, no woman would dance while a man is watching.
But you'll dance with strange men, right? Holding hands, etc.
Strange men, yes, but most often it's quite a dear friend.
Good. We'll dance together. You show me. Teach, teach, teach.
It's really quite simple. The polka you just count. And 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2. Shall we dance? Shall we dance? Shall we
Let's
dance?
try.
Shall we dance?
1, 2, 3, and.
On a bright cloud of music. music, shall we fly?
1, 2, 3, and
Shall we dance?
1, 2, 3, and
Shall we then say goodnight and mean goodbye?
1, 2, 3, and
Or perchance, when the last little stars left the sky,
1, 2, 3, and
shall we still be together with our arms around each other? And will you be my new
romance
on the clear understanding that this kind of thing can happen? Shall we dance?
shall we dance?
Shall we dance?
Very good, very good.
You did quite well.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Try it again.
Sorry. 1, 2, 3, and
It's perfect. You're
1,
doing
2,
quite
3,
well.
and 1, 2, 3, and
Or perchance, when the last little stars left the sky, shall we still be together with our arms around each other? And will you be my new romance?
on the clear understanding that this kind of thing can happen.
Shall we dance?
Shall we dance? Shall we dance? 1, 2, 3, and